going for Atlantic salmon on the Naugatuck River, right here in Connecticut. It's gonna be on the fly or not at all, guys. So I'm gonna slowly back away from here, do my best not to spook these fish. Whoa, he took right in front of me! What is up, guys, and welcome to another episode of Connecticut Angler. You know, ever since I started my channel about, I want to say a year and a half ago now, there has been one video which has stood out far above the rest, far more views than any other video I've ever put out, and that is my Atlantic salmon fishing video. And that's precisely why I'm very excited to bring you guys this episode. We are back at it again, going for Atlantic salmon on the Naugatuck River, right here in Connecticut. Now, I'm actually selecting my rod here. All right, there we've got the 8-weight and the 5-weight with sinking line. Now, as I mentioned, last year I made a video in which I went fishing for these Atlantic salmon, and it was hands down the most popular video I have ever produced on the channel thus far. I would recommend that if you haven't seen that video yet, stop watching this one. Click the link that you're going to see appearing up here somewhere. That's gonna bring you to that first video. Watch that video first, because in the beginning of that video, I offer kind of a brief intro into Atlantic salmon in Connecticut. I'm not gonna cover all of that extensively in the beginning of this video. I will go over the basics though. So the salmon we're going to be fishing for today are the broodstock Atlantic salmon, the adult salmon that they keep at the hatchery to produce the next generation. And each year they have a surplus of these salmon, and they stock them in 2 rivers in the state. One on the western side of the state, the Naugatuck, and one on the eastern side of the state, the Shetucket. And so each autumn, they stock these surplus broodstock Atlantic salmon. We're talking fish that could range anywhere from maybe 17 inches all the way up to 30 inches. These are dropped in the rivers to give anglers an opportunity to catch a species of salmonid that they wouldn't ordinarily have an opportunity to go for. Last year, my goal was to catch one of these salmon on both fly fishing gear and spinning gear. I caught a ton of trout on the fly gear that year in a lot of the same places where they stock the salmon. By pure happenstance, I just wasn't able to land a salmon on the fly gear. I did end up landing salmon on the spinning gear though. So since I knocked that out back in 2019, the goal for this year, the theme for this year's salmon fishing video is salmon on the fly. It's gonna be on the fly or not at all, guys. And we're gonna see what we can do, guys. I am feeling really confident about this. I'm extremely excited. I've been looking forward to them stocking these salmon in the Naugatuck, and I am thrilled to try to make this happen on a fly rod, because when I caught a salmon last year, that was the first Atlantic salmon I had ever gotten here in Connecticut. So even though I've knocked out that first, if I can get one on a fly rod this year, that's gonna be yet another first. But I don't really think there's any more talking to do here, guys. So let's get right out to the Naugatuck. Whoa. Here we are. That was quick. Let's get to it. All right. going to spare you watching much of the several hours I spent flogging the river that day and hooking up with absolutely nothing. It was a grind, and I didn't even get a nibble. Now, I did see a couple salmon, mostly the salmon that just hang out in the tail outs that aren't really interested in biting anything, and indeed, I threw everything I had in my streamer box and everything I had in my nymph box at those salmon, and they just weren't feeling it. But I'm back here again. A couple days have passed, and I'm ready to see if maybe these fish are finally ready to feed on something I'm gonna offer up to them. I've got my 2 5-weights. I'm starting off here with my 5-weight with the floating line. We're gonna be doing some indicator nymphing. If we still haven't gotten any bites, we're gonna change spots. Now that may mean going upriver, or it may actually mean going way, way downriver, several miles into a different town, into a different place that they stock salmon. But enough talking for now. Let's get to it. Well, the flow here is minimal. Oh, I see a salmon right over there, actually. He's actually cruising pretty high up in the water column. The likelihood of him seeing this nymph is very, very low. It kind of makes me wish that I had chosen to bust out the streamer rod first, because I would be able to take a crack at him. In fact, you know, I'm actually almost thinking I made the wrong choice by taking out the nymph rig first. You know, if there's going to be any time when I have the best shot at getting these fish to hit a streamer, it's probably now, earlier in the morning, a little overcast. So I'm going to put the nymph through here just a couple more times, and then I think I'm going to go right back up to the truck, get the rod with the sinking line, and we're going to start ripping some streamers through here. All right, guys. We got the 5-weight with the sinking line, little killer bee clouser here, tied on. The sinking line does a really good job of helping to get the streamers down that are not tied particularly heavy, which is important because, again, you've got to follow the regs here. No extra weight added to the line. So in the case of fly fishing, that means you've got only the weight that's tied into your fly, or whatever weight is literally built into your line. The mere fact that I've made, say, 20 or 30 casts through this area and haven't gotten a bite does not in any way mean that a strike isn't going to come on the 50th cast, or the 100th cast, or the 200th cast. You know, the name of the game with these salmon sometimes is just persistence. There are going to be days where you come out and it just seems like they can't wait to eat whatever you're throwing. But you should be prepared for it not to go quite as smoothly. You should be prepared for having to spend a lot of time on the river seeking, searching, and yet for one reason or another, never having them actually take whatever you're offering. That's just how it goes, guys. Persistence pays off. Just as it is with fishing in general, so too is it with these salmon. All right, guys, moving on. This spot just isn't producing. Not very surprising, but this is hardly the only place to find salmon on the Naugatuck. All right, guys. Here we are at spot number 2, same general stretch of the river. strategy here is just going to be to cover as much water as I can. So, that was a terrible cast. So I'm just gonna kind of keep shuffling along the river here as I cast, making sure that I pull the streamer crossways through the river, at least every 3 to 5 feet. You know, if you're out here first time trying to get one of these salmon, go with the spinning rod first. Don't feel like you need to make it happen with the fly rod first. Let yourself get that experience and then move on to the arguably more laborious task of getting one with the fly rod afterwards. Holy crap, a salmon just leapt completely out of the water over there, guys. Oh my God. Holy crap. Okay, we got a little run over here. Water is very shallow, but at least we have some water movement, which is kind of promising of itself. Give it a shot. I've been walking through a whole lot of shallow water. It's been kind of demoralizing to see how shallow everything is. I came to this little area here. There's at least a little depth to this water. I kind of doubt that it's holding a salmon, but at least I finally feel like there's something I can pull my streamer through. Well, guys, I'm kind of hitting my limit here. You know, I've hiked a good deal of time up the river here, seen a whole lot of really, really shallow water. You know, I've had people tell me that they bring the salmon way far up the river, and that if you keep hiking all the way up, the pools you'll find quite a ways up will have salmon in them. Now, I don't really have any reason to disbelieve that. I can tell you I have never personally caught one up this far, but you know, I have been told by many folks that they do in fact bring them up here. Now, logistically, it just seems like that would be awfully hard to do, and that's why I find that a little hard to believe. You know, the fact that I'm hiking this far up the river, I guess, shows that I'm willing to give it a try, and I'm willing to believe. But I'm running out of hope. You know, I'll tell you what, guys, I mean, granted, I'm not catching a damn thing, which is a little disappointing, of course, but you know, this is just such a beautiful river right now. I mean, everywhere you look, you have these beautiful woodland scenes, leaves continuously fluttering down off the trees. I'm kind of blessed with some really nice temperatures right now, to where it's not so warm that I'm sweating in my waders, but warm enough that I'm not exceptionally cold at all. I don't need a jacket. I don't feel like I'm uncomfortable as a result of not having one. Now, here again, guys, we have a pool which, you know, under other circumstances, if we maybe had a little bit more water, I would feel like it's very promising, but it's just so shallow. That's not to say it's impossible. I could very well be wrong. Honestly, there may be some of you guys may be watching this saying, no, you're wrong. I've caught so many salmon there. I go there every year. That's where I catch salmon. You know, it's just, I think there's a certain natural skepticism. You know, I gotta say, that's a really nice looking run over there. Oh gosh, I thought I had one, guys, and I got snagged on the submerged part of that log. Whoa, that actually got my heart pounding. I was like, oh my God, it's finally happened. Nope, caught something much bigger than a salmon. Unfortunately, white pine is not the species I was after. Now that I've gotten up here to the other side of the stream, and I'm kind of at a higher vantage point looking down, you know, I can tell you I've got, oh my gosh, I was gonna say I have a really good vantage point, and I wasn't seeing anything. I was literally about to tell you there's clearly nothing in this pool. I literally came around this tree. There are 3 salmon sitting right in front of me. One fairly large one and two smaller ones. It looks like maybe two 16s and then maybe 18 or 19. Oh, and it looks like some trout over there too. Either some trout or maybe some suckers. Okay, well, I mean, I know there's fish here now. I think what I need, oh my gosh, guys, yeah, there's a lot of fish here. Okay, so I count those 3 salmon here, and then I see what are either suckers or smaller trout. They look like 12 to 14 inches, and there's maybe about a half dozen of those up here. So I'm gonna slowly back away from here, do my best not to spook these fish. We're gonna go back downstream into some of this shallow water here that I was just walking by, and cast up to these fish, and pray that one of them takes. The fish are all holding about 20 feet further up there. Maybe a little further than 20 feet. They're holding in pretty shallow water. I've got a complex twist woolly bugger on here. Now I cast with my right hand, so I'm just gonna kind of shimmy my way across the stream here so I can get a decent back cast. I don't want to be taking the chance of botching any of these casts. Okay, my heart is thumping right now, guys. My heart is absolutely thumping right now. I'm not gonna get a whole lot of shots at this, so let's hope that these fish are hungry. Yeah, if I saw them from that tree over there, actually, that means pretty much putting my casts right about in the right spot. But unfortunately, I have no visual on these fish from here. I can't see them. I have no idea if they may be showing limited interest at least, or if I'm literally just spooking them by tossing the streamer out there. I have no idea. I'm really conflicted here, guys. I mean, now that I know there's fish here, do I make the hike all the way back to my truck, go get my rod with the floating line, and come on back here and give it a shot with nymphs? I got one, guys. Holy crap. Whoa, he took right in front of me. He took right in front of me. Whoa. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Oh man, I don't think he realizes that I'm right here in the river. I have a feeling he might try to make a crazy run if he sees me. Ah, I got him, guys. I got him. Yeah. All right. Look at that, guys. He took that complex twist woolly bugger. He went for it right in front of me. Awesome. Now this is not a big one by any means. It's kind of a snaky salmon, so to speak. All right, let's let this fish go, guys. And he's off. All right, guys. Boy, I'll tell you what. You know, you heard how skeptical I was. The whole time that I was heading this far upstream, I just really thought this was nothing but a long shot. I never would have believed that all the way up here was where I was going to finally bump into one of these Atlantic salmon. But so it is, and you know, that wasn't a huge salmon. It didn't even really have any girth for his size, kind of a snaky Atlantic salmon, but I'm still thrilled with it just the same. That was awesome. My first Atlantic salmon on the fly. And guys, I'll tell you what, it's so fun. These are such fun fish, and it's such a cool opportunity for Connecticut anglers to be able to come out here and enjoy going after these long lost salmonids. Well, guys, it was just about time to pack it up down there. You know, between me having peppered most of those pools with several different streamers already, and the fact that I had bumped into anglers pretty far up there who had already come down through fishing all the pools that lay ahead of me. I figured the probabilities were low enough hooking up with something at this point in the streamer. It was probably a good idea to pack it in. I'll tell you what, guys. I came here looking to catch my first Atlantic salmon on the fly, and I succeeded. And goddamn, it feels good. I think, if anything, I'm gonna see if I can't get one on a nymph now, but that's for another episode, folks. In the meantime, this has been another episode of Connecticut Angler. If you enjoyed it, hit that thumbs up button. And if you like what I'm doing out here, subscribe. See you guys next time.